Good afternoon, OTYB alumni. Tina Mitchell here with your OTYB Success Program. Again, the space I've created for a private group for people that have graduated from the One Time Your Business 8-week burn, and it's really to be a support to help you with the implementation of One Timing Your Business and to continue what you were able to start, which is taking your business efficiency and lead generation to the highest level possible. So I want to thank you for being here in this space and allowing me to share with you. So this week's challenge is to embrace your failures. I'd like to share a quote with you that I wrote back during the financial meltdown. Life is balanced with no exceptions. Every failure has a gain waiting on the other side. Make the decision to look for the gain and not focus on the loss. So during the financial meltdown, as I'm sure that if you're here with me right now, that you had challenges, obstacles, and things that you had to overcome during this adjustment in what I have to say for the first time in my adult life, where I was affected in my career life financially. And I felt that I didn't have any control over it. The market was what it was, and there was no opportunity. So I remember sitting in the office late at night. It was probably 12, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was in tears at my desk, wondering what I was going to do. My husband, Dave, at the time worked with me. He started working with me at the end of 2005, gave up his career to save our marriage. That's a whole nother story. And so he started with me before the meltdown came. He gave up his career and started working with me. So I was really it. My income and what I brought in. Now, since then, Dave is retired. And, so he hasn't worked with me for quite a few years. He retired when he was 55. But anyways, so everything was based on me, and I thought that I didn't have control over it. So sitting in the office, and when you notice when you're really thinking about things and there's really things that you need, the universe brings it to you if you are in the right space, whether it's a space of distress or if it's a space of excitement. The more you are in that moment, the more you're opening up for things to show up, whatever space that you're in. Now, for me in this space, I was in a space of distress at an extreme level. And so I went online to look for inspiration or motivation. And I wish I could remember what I actually typed in my browser. But what ended up coming up were 2 videos. Now, during the burn, depending on what group you graduated from, if it's a recent group, you've definitely seen these videos. If it was one of my earlier groups, you have not, but I will post the videos in the Facebook live group after our session here today. But I watched those videos, and what these videos really were about was perception. And everything would change for me in this moment. My perception would completely change. What I realized is I had complete control over how I was going to look at the situation. So it was a challenge, but at the same time, because of the balance in the universe, we're going to talk about this today because this is what embracing your failures is all about. There's a balance in the universe. So the bigger the challenge, the bigger the success. The smaller the challenge, the smaller the success. Everything is of equal. And so I realized in this moment that as big of a challenge that this was, when I really thought about it deeper, I realized that 70% of my competition had exited the industry. And I was committed to staying in the industry. I was committed of not going anywhere. This was it for me. I'd spent all these years building my career and I wasn't ready to give it up. So since 70% of my competitors were out of the industry, guess what? There was the opportunity. The almost missed opportunity. If I had not opened that space of such pain that the universe was trying so desperately to bring me something to get me out of this space. Fortunately, I embraced it, which allows things to open up. And that's what today is really about. It's about embracing your failures. And so allowing to open up to be able to benefit from this feeling so that you can bring positive things in. We're going to get to that in just a second. So being that space opened up for me, I found these videos just randomly online. The universe brought it to me. And I was able to see that this was not a challenging market. It was a market of opportunity. Now, does this sound familiar? One Time Your Business is all about looking at the problems and challenges that you have in your business as opportunities, because they all are, only when you're willing to embrace them. So once I had that shift, that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity, I went from complete distress to complete excitement. Now, as I thought further, I realized it got even better, because not only were 70% of my competition out of the industry, which means there was opportunity. People were buying homes. There were real estate agents that were still selling real estate. There was just a lot less competition. But the excitement got even better as I continued with my thought process, that before the financial meltdown, anybody could do a mortgage. Everybody was. Now that everybody was out of the industry and there was huge stress and you needed a lot of knowledge, you had to work harder than ever, majority of people were not going to be willing to do that. And so the industry needed me. My referral partners needed me. My clients needed me. Someone that was still passionate and excited about helping in this environment. So I want you to think about that for a second, because I know that there's times that you can think of in your life where failure or tragedy has hit, and you've allowed that time to take you down. There's also been times that tragedy and failure has hit, and you've been able to use that adrenaline to fight for your life and fight for what you want. That is what this week is all about. Now, this is an extension of what we've been working on the last few weeks, which is creating a habit to one time your business, a mind shift. And there are 3 mind shifts to create a habit to one time your business. We already talked about rejoicing the small successes. That was a few weeks challenge back. Last week, we talked about taking the hard road. That is a second mind shift. And the last mind shift, what we're working on this week, and the challenge for this week, is all about embracing your failures. Life is not just about succeeding, but it's rejoicing in your failures. Only after accepting that failures were a part of life was I able to benefit from them. If you look at the most successful people in every area of business, which if they're that successful in business, they are that successful in their personal life as well. It goes hand in hand. That's really what balance is being able to have that success in both areas of your life. They have also had the biggest failures, but the difference from them and the majority is they use those failures to succeed instead of letting those failures take them down. Many, many examples. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was fired from a company that he founded, Apple. And look at how he was able to succeed from that failure. If you are not failing, you are not trying hard enough, and failure is all you have. Just because you have failed, it does not make you a failure. Just because you've lost, it doesn't make you a loser. Failure is not trying to find a better way to get the results that you want. Thomas Edison, he had to fail 10,000 times, but he credits those 10,000 times of failure he credits those failures to the success that he had in creating the light bulb. If not for those 10,000 ways of not to do it, he would not have been able to find the one way to do the creation that he was able to do. Huge success came from those many failures. Failure is giving up. You've heard of the saying, don't let success go to your head. I like to say, and as important, is not to let failure go to your heart. Doesn't that feel beautiful just to say that? So I challenge you this week, every time a failure comes up or a disappointment or anything negative in those emotional feelings that you have, just say to yourself, I'm not going to let failure go to my heart. I mean, I don't know about you, but that can actually bring me to tears when I say that. And it is a reminder of how failure is a good thing, because the universe is balanced for a reason, which we'll talk about that today. Instead of saying, why not, why me? Say, why not me? That's a pretty powerful statement. Why not me? Why can't I use failures to succeed just like other top percent, best of the best people can? You can. Fight for what you want in business and in life, but you're only able to do that when you embrace your failures. Give it all that you have, and success will be yours. It's guaranteed. Now, maybe you will not see the level of success that you want in the time that you want. Remember the Chinese bamboo tree. You have to have faith that things are happening underneath the surface, that you're watering and fertilizing your tree. But embracing those failures is the lessons that you need to learn to find the successes that you want in your business, which will allow you to live a successful life. Everything in the universe is balanced. So going back to the financial meltdown and my aha moment that I shared with you, after leaving the office, and I was so excited, it was just so amazing. I get goosebumps just remembering that moment of complete distress to so much excitement for the opportunity that just presented itself to me. In less than 30 minutes of when I was going through this space, I was driving home late at night. No other cars were out on the road at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, whenever it was that I actually made it on the road, and I was heading home. And I stopped at a stoplight, and I wasn't even consciously thinking about the red stoplight, but I thought about the green light that was going to come after. And then after that subconscious thought process, the conscious started coming in. And I thought uphill, downhill, overpass, underpass. And as I was driving home that night, which I was probably about 15 minutes away from my house, I started thinking of different words intentionally. And what I realized in this moment is every word, and you try this, every word that you say has an opposite, it's a preference, or a choice. Every word. Because I did this game for a week. I had a 3-binder notebook that I took note of every single word. I had my entire team playing it. It was, I was so embraced in it. Every word has an opposite or a preference or a choice. And this is where I learned that life is balanced with no exceptions. Every failure has a gain on the other side. Make the decision to look for the gain and not focus on the loss. What goes down must go up. What falls must rise. Pros, cons, do's, don'ts, the yin and the yang. Why does challenge visit us? So that we can find the opportunity. Why does sadness visit us? So that we know what happiness feels like. Why is there so much hate in the world? So we can really, truly feel what love feels like. Can you see where I'm going with this? It goes on and on. If steak were your favorite food and you had to eat steak for the rest of your life, how long would that be your favorite food? Not for long, I'm sure. Remember when you've tried riding a bike, when you fell off, you didn't give up, you kept trying, and the next time it actually got harder because you knew the fall was coming, it was going to hurt, but you continued to try. So think about this week to be courageous and have strength like you did as a child. What if when you were trying to walk, you stopped at crawling? That doesn't happen. So why do we lose that in our adulthood? It's because all the negativity that comes in, and we allow that to create our new space and not the natural space that we were born in. We were born to be in a space of creativity and to utilize the yin and the yang to accomplish what we're supposed to accomplish in this world. I once participated in a self-defense class, and what I thought I was going there to do was learn all these really cool moves. What my real takeaway was to learn how to use my adrenaline to fight back. If you don't know how to use your adrenaline to fight back, it will take you down. But once you know how to use that, that's when magical things start coming into place for you. And it's kind of like when you're working out with weights, it takes practice to build that muscle. And once you do, you really start seeing the effect of that workout, but it takes a while to actually build that. Same here. This is a new something that you have to build the muscle to see that benefit. You have to work on it, and as you continue to work on it, when you get to a certain level of something, you've reached the top. Now it allows you to go even higher. That's what I'm talking about here. Once you reach that highest level of consciousness and really being able to embrace your failures, then the next time you can take it to another level, and you keep taking it further, and it becomes a part of everything that you do, and very, very powerful. So think back to the time when you lost. There are times that you've lost, right? But just because you lost, again, doesn't make you a loser. You gave it everything that you have. But think about all that you learned during that process. What about the deals that you've lost? We're all in sales. But if you look at the most successful people, they have lost the most deals. And just not having somebody respond to you is a loss. Think about that competition. You gave it everything that you had and you lost. But remember all of the preparation to get there. Take yourself back to when you were in school and college and all of the preparation. And even though you didn't pass that test, but everything that you learned, it continues to become easier as you go through the process. You didn't get a job. Think about all that you were able to take away from the constructive feedback that you received. So these are things that we can easily connect to that have happened, and it will help you through this week as you're going through this challenge to see that failure is really meant to be there, and there's a reason that it's there. It's just being able to embrace that, that moment. So I want you to make note this week of things that come up that are a challenge for you. Keep note of these things, activities and things that are challenging, not going your way. And write those down as they're coming up throughout the day. And as you're doing your wrap up at the end of the day, I'd like to challenge you before you wrap up for your day is to go back to that list. And then I want you to make the exact opposite of what that challenge is. Because this was my aha moment during the financial meltdown. And if not for that moment, I would not be the person I am today at any remote level. This course would not have existed. I would not have wrote my book. I would not do the work that I do with homeless women. So many amazing things that I've been able to do for myself and been able to open up and share with others, because really that's what it's all about, is we're here to share with others, and we all have something to special to share and to give in this world. But none of that would have happened for me if I had not learned to embrace my failures. So every challenge, stress, or failure that happens this week, make a note of it. On the left side, and this one is handwritten, so not to use in your task manager, because handwriting in this exercise is a really important part of the process. It's kind of like journaling. So write it down on the left-hand side of your binder. And then on the right-hand side, I want you to write down the exact opposite. So the challenging financial market that we were in, what was that opposite? And I want you to write the opposite in the extreme of wherever that challenge or that failure lands for you. Because that's really what the balance in the universe is. It's of equal. Salt, pepper, long hair, short hair. Play that game too, because it is really, really awesome. If I could share my binder with all of you, if anybody wants to see it, some of the words that we were able to come up with was crazy, but with the internet, we could just actually Google what the opposite was. So it's really fun aha moment. I know it may sound a little bit silly, but it really isn't. Because it helps to really connect to the way life really is supposed to be. And it is to embrace your failures, because through those failures is where you're going to take away the lessons. You're going to learn what you need to learn. You're going to appreciate the opportunity that you have, so many different things that you were able to take away from that. And so I encourage you to really embrace this mind shift this week in failures. So want to open up to see if there's any questions that any of you have. And I'm trying to see online here. I'm still trying to get used to the Facebook Live space and to be able to see who is online with the video here, and I'm having a challenge bringing that up, and I definitely will one-time this space. So you'll notice that the Facebook Live and this experience will continue to get better as time goes on. because we'll continue to one-time this process. But I really appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you being a part of the OTYB Success Group. I hope that you're able to connect with other online, other alumni that are online and part of the Facebook group. Maybe take a look at the people that are in the group and reach out to anybody that you know. Grab an accountability partner that you can really keep each other accountable on this week's challenge. And this is really to, in the spirit of one tasking, to really give you one thing to focus on this week so you can dial into that at a deep level and have some implementation with that so that you can continue to experience the compound effect as we're adding challenges here. And next week's challenge is going to be on time wasters. So if you would like to learn how to make more out of the time that you have and eliminate some of the common time wasters, I'm sure at least one of these things that you might be doing. It'll be a powerful challenge for next week. So I invite you to come next week. And anything that you need from me during the week, please post in this group and I will connect with you. Just want to open it one more time if there's any questions or anything that you need from me. And if not, I will go ahead and sign off. This is Tina Mitchell, closing up our Facebook Live for the OTYB alumni, and I appreciate you very much. Have an amazing day. If you're here in Seattle, oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Enjoy the sunshine.